Why do you believe in creationism?
I believe in creationism because I've never seen any evidence of evolution. And through the last 200 years, we've had excellent documentation of animals. We have never seen any of them change. We've seen them adapt. But I believe adaptation and evolution is two separate things.
Why do you prefer the theory of evolution over creation?
Well, the main thing, Adam and Eve, if just two people start a population, then that's a lot of inbreeding. And we see now that if you actually inbreed, you cause birth defects and all other things happen. So I can't see going on for all of mankind, this inbreeding, and not having any side effects.
What is your opinion of the theory of evolution?
As evolution is animals adapting into different cultures, or animals coming from one animal like a fish to a ape to a human. I believe that things have adapted over time to the culture that they're in, but I don't believe that things came from a dot and then to a fish and then whatever the scale of evolution as what I've heard it is to be.
So, on the humanistic scale, you don't believe that humans came from apes?
No.
Do you think there's a possibility of you ever believing in a creator?
Me believing in a creator, no. I can understand how people can think that there's a creator, and if a creator actually exists, I can understand that. But me personally believing in it, no.
Do you think it's unfair to teach evolution in schools but not creationism?
Yeah, I do. I'm not saying I think that just creationism should be taught in schools. I'm saying I think that they should be taught, both of them should be taught. Like, you don't have to believe what I believe, but I don't want people to exclude what I believe. Like, teach them both and teach them as a theory, and that's fine with me.
Do you find it strange, maybe even to the point of amusement, that millions of people believe in a creator?
The creator part, I don't think they use the creator as belief as the person who created them. They use the creator as a figure that they build their faith on. They want to have something to rely on, something that they want that image to support them when they need them. I guess that's why the point of the prayer and all those like mass and stuff, just because they want to believe that there's a person, there's always that figure, always support them from behind, and always can help them to have some of the spiritual power to move on when they struggle in their life. I believe that's how the figure of a creator or a God for them to be.
There have been several cases where schools have tried to mask creationism by calling it creation science or intelligent design. Do you think that that's right?
I'm a firm believer in being blunt with whatever is going on. So if they're going to be teaching creationism, they should call it creationism, and they should go from the perspective of the Bible. Because if they're not teaching from the Bible, they're not teaching it correctly. And if the school system says they're not allowed to teach religion or bring religion into the education system, then they shouldn't be teaching it from a false standpoint.
Would you be offended if creationism was taught in schools?
I would be highly offended, because that's not science. It has no scientific upbringing. It's a story, if anything. Okay, like you can teach that in English class because that's not flawed enough in and of itself. But you can teach that as a story, but you can't teach that as science. You have to keep science as science.
Are you, or have you ever been offended by the theory of evolution?
Me personally, no, I've never been offended by it. Have I been offended by some evolutionists? Yes. And I'm sure there are evolutionists out there that have been offended by creationists. It's a vicious cycle that we get so fixated on being right in our own opinion that we completely write out the other individual's opinion, and round goes the cycle. So by the theory, no. By some of the people preaching the theory, yeah. Especially when they don't necessarily agree with the creationists, the creation theory. I think there's a level of taste. You can a level of taste and a manner in which that needs to be done. You know, state your opinion. I'm fine that you have your own opinion, but don't do it in a way that is offensive to me or anyone else in there. And I shouldn't, you know, I likewise shouldn't do the same to you. So.
What aspects of creationism are the most flawed for you?
For me, creationism, the biggest thing for me is the whole fact of not seeing God. Everybody says that he's there, but for me, with them being there, I'd see them. Like, I know that this chair is here because I'm sitting in it. That's the biggest aspect for me.
In your eyes, what aspects of evolution are the most convincing?
I think that the fossil records are the most convincing evidence. Seeing how, you know, a land animal turned into a whale, and that we do have the fossils in order to prove that there have been stages of it. Yeah, there could be stages that we are missing, but I think even what we have is definite enough proof to show that it is possible that it did happen.
I believe that creationists are generally more stubborn in the sense that they are less likely to switch sides on the whole evolution-creationism dilemma. Would you agree? Why or why not?
I would agree with that, because I think for me, being a creationist, it's because it goes along with what my religion teaches, and I'm very firm in what I believe in that. And why would I switch to something else if I would have to adopt an entire different belief system, I think, if I was going to just debunk one part of it, so.
I believe that creationists are generally more stubborn in the sense that they are less likely to switch sides on the whole evolution-creationism dilemma. Would you agree? Why or why not?
And I do agree that those who follow the Bible a lot more strictly and everything are a lot more stubborn, just because they have a lot on the line. I mean, that's kind of how they base their entire lives, the way they live. So, like, if you walk up to me and tell me I am no longer black, I'm going to have a lot at stake. I mean, this is kind of who I am. I see creationism, well, creationists as more of like a Republican, and atheists as kind of like liberal. They're more open to like change and everything. Well, creationists stay kind of traditionally grounded in that train of thought.